This is Jacob Soboroff, a correspondent at MSNBC. Over the last week or so, in the midst of a rise of immigration raids and anti-ICE protests in Los Angeles, Soboroff has become the news network's go-to man on the street.
This is a neighborhood called Cypress Park in Los Angeles. Obviously, this is a Home Depot. On corners just like this, Nicole, every single day, and this is not far from where I live, actually, day laborers stand on corners just like this, and they look for work. They look for work in people's homes, in places of work, all across Los Angeles to do tasks menial and important, to get a decent day's wage. They'd come here to corners like this just to lend a hand to other people in this community, and instead now they become targets of the Trump administration.
They're not breaking the law. They're just there to lend a hand, guys. Why would the bad orange man do this?
What happened on Monday morning at 7 o'clock, 7:30 was reportedly around 10, 20, 30, maybe more ICE agents or federal agents with masks on.
Oh no, not masks.
They chased those day laborers. Some of them ran across this street here, which is Figueroa, a main thoroughfare, across the street to that McDonald's, and did everything they could to get away from that enforcement operation by ICE. They were terrified.
Yes, probably because it's illegal to be an undocumented day laborer. Furthermore, if they're not legally allowed to work within the United States, it's illegal to hire them.
Immigration is what started all of this. Democracy is what is on the line today in Los Angeles and throughout the United States.
Enforcing immigration laws is a threat to democracy. Wait, what?
Not in the last many decades under Democratic nor Republican presidents, despite the fact that you had presidents with big deportation programs, Democratic and Republican, as you have so often reported. Have we seen the type of immigration enforcement we saw play out on the streets of Los Angeles on Friday?
Here's a question. Why not? I mean, day laborers hanging out in hardware store parking lots has been a meme for decades. ICE performing a raid at Home Depot is kind of a no-brainer.
That struck fear into the heart of not just the undocumented community here, but of many U.S. citizen family members of undocumented people, and many U.S. citizens who know those people.
Oh, I see. We're not supposed to enforce immigration law because feelings.
Removing people from this community who have been here, if not their entire life, virtually their entire lives. There are so many mixed status families that live in Los Angeles that might have an undocumented parent or relative and U.S. citizen child or cousin.
Jacob Soboroff is not a news reporter. He's an immigration activist.
Yesterday, as videos started coming in of ICE chasing after workers in fields like this, just like in Los Angeles to the west, it has struck fear into the hearts of the workers of this community. And the idea that this would be some kind of national security threat, or this would be some kind of clear and present danger to the people of California, take a look for yourself. You know what's happening out here right now, Nicole? There are strawberries sitting behind me that are going unpicked.
Oh no! Won't somebody please think of the strawberries?
Take a look. I can smell the strawberries from where I'm standing right now. There are a couple of workers out in this field, but really all you see is fruit that is going unpicked. And so what ultimately will end up happening, Nicole, is in a couple of weeks, if not a couple of months, if not weeks, you're going to start to feel the impact on the economy, not just of California, but across the country.
Well, maybe these farm owners should have been utilizing the H-2A visa program for temporary workers. I mean, you can't make the case that only foreign-born workers will do farm work, but then not bother to legally recruit foreign-born workers.
The idea that this is happening here, of all places, you know, does this look like a dangerous location to you? Does it look like there are violent criminals walking out in the fields behind me?
Look, President Trump promised mass deportations, and we're getting mass deportations. Illegal alien farm workers are not a protected class. We don't give preferential treatment to one illegal alien over another because, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
When Governor Newsom says the National Guard is being used as pawns, he's talking about these folks behind me. And whether or not they want to be here, they sign up for the mission and they're here today. And what you're looking at is deployed members deployed by the President of the United States of America standing outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. And this is about the extent of what they're doing. President Trump has basically sent the National Guard to sit and do not much of anything other than protect a loading dock.
So Jacob here is bemused about Trump sending in the National Guard to protect a federal building. But then he blames the violence happening downtown on the National Guard.
But it's happening because the president has put these troops on the streets of Los Angeles.
The images that you're seeing on your screen right now are only such as they are because of the increased law enforcement presence from the National Guard. And before the National Guard was here, quite frankly, these types of melees were not happening on the streets of Los Angeles.
But I thought they were only protecting a loading dock. But sure, Jacob, it's the National Guard's fault that the protesters are getting violent. Makes sense to me. What's your problem? But then on Saturday, June 14th, after tens of thousands of people showed up in downtown LA, the LAPD issued a dispersal order after several incidents of these peaceful protesters throwing concrete, rocks, bottles, and launching commercial-grade fireworks at police officers.
I, too, have not seen anybody. The LAPD says that some bottles were thrown at officers in the Temple and Spring Street area down there, but everyone I have seen today, even when they were face-to-face, Marines and protesters, National Guard and protesters, as close as I am to the camera right now, nobody laid hands on each other. Look, there are peaceful protesters here, and the police department continues to say, the LAPD has said, that bottles have been thrown at officers. It's not something I've witnessed. It's not something David Noriega, he said he witnessed maybe somebody throw an empty water bottle.
But that's not what David Noriega said.
From what I have witnessed, have been peaceful protests. I've seen people antagonize them with their words. I've seen them antagonize the National Guard and the Marines with their words. I'll be completely honest. Earlier I saw a couple people throw plastic water bottles at the line of police.
If you have to preface your reporting with the phrase, "I'll be completely honest," you're probably a liar.
From what I have seen, and I'm only one person, I can't account for the actions of everybody, but from what I have seen on the ground, the chaos you're seeing is not the result of the actions of protesters, it's the result of the actions of law enforcement, and specifically the actions of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, which has been very quick to use less lethal munitions, chemical agents, mounted troops, and other kinds of force to disperse what, from what I have witnessed, have been peaceful protests.
So for clarity, the LAPD put out multiple exposts about how their officers were being attacked. And these reporters are basically going, well, they say they're being attacked, but I didn't see it.
You know, you can't call rubber bullets peaceful. You can't call horses trampling on people peaceful. You can't call flashbang grenades dropped out of unmarked vehicles, which happened earlier, and tear gas dropped out of unmarked vehicles peaceful. Those are aggressive crowd control tactics that have resulted in people getting hurt on the streets of LA today.
Pro tip, when the police give you a disbursement order, you disperse.
Black Hawk choppers were circling over strawberry fields, and the strawberries will sit there and rot because nobody has the courage now to show up to actually pick them.
So there's no one in the entire state of California that can pick strawberries? Really? And even if that were true, the world's not going to come to an end without strawberries.
This went very quickly from a protest that was designed to protest the policies of the Trump administration and what they've been doing here over the course of the last 8-9 days to, unfortunately, skirmishes with local law enforcement that was put in between by the President of the United States, the National Guard and the Marines, and the protesters who wanted to say Broadway and Grand Park. That's LAPD, issuing a dispersal order from the helicopter.
And yet they're all standing there just waiting to be victims. Sad, really. Anyway, that's it for now. Follow me on X at Don't Walk Run. thanks to Poofy and my dad for helping me out with the video. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time, if there is next time.